Alright, hey, welcome to another video of mine. I am starting off today with a question, which is how well exactly can you charge a Tesla Model 3 such as this with a generator like that? These are questions I must know the answers to, and so I will find out. So just so we can see that there's no tricks or any camera magic going on here, I do in fact have the Tesla charger plugged into a super sweet adapter that goes into the 240 volt connection on this here generator, and if you're curious what kind, that's what it is. And I have let's see, all of about 1 hour of runtime on this thing because I've never really had to use it for anything. It is also grounded, as you can see, leading all the way to the ground for my house, where my child is carrying around a Hot Wheels track because that's what he does.
Emotional damage.
That aside, moving on. So as we can also see here, I've got the actual end of the Tesla plug leading back into the generator. So there you go. That's what we're doing. We're going to see if this works. It's going to be loud. Let's get started. All right, I'll talk loudly. So as you can see, I've got a green light on the charger. The generator is running, and we've got charging going on inside the car. From inside the car, we'll get a better view. So, just to get an idea of how we're doing here, I've started off with, well, no amps at the moment. I think I've set it to 2 amps, just to start it off so I can slowly raise it up. But, oh yeah, here we go. So I'm going to set it to about 10 amps, and we'll see what kind of charge we get going, if any, and that should be interesting. So, okay, we got some amperage coming up now. Got 11, so it doesn't seem to like anything below about 10 amps. Hey, we got 11 amps, 10 amps, something like that, and 247 volts. So we can math that out and say we're doing somewhere close to 2,500 watt, or yeah, about 2,500 watts, which is currently giving us about 3 to 4 miles per hour. So I think as the generator continues to warm up, we will get a more solid number. But I'm actually going to boost up the amperage to 15 amps. And I can hear the generator starting to go under a little bit heavier of a load. Let's go ahead and try boosting us up to 20 amps. Oh, generator kicked off. And it's back, the load's coming back up, and the load's off again. All right, so the amperage has dropped off because apparently 20 amps is too much for my generator, or my generator might be getting low on fuel. One of two things, I'm not totally sure. But let's drop it down to 15 amps and see if it can pick up that charge again. It's seeming like not. I've got a bit of a charge going. We've got about 15 amps. It's fairly steady. The generator does not seem to handle much more amperage though. So I'm gonna try to increase it by 1 amp at a time and kind of just treat this like benchmarking a computer and see if I can slowly raise the amperage while also maintaining the charge. So here we are at 16 amps, seeming pretty steady. And 17 amps. 17 amps looks pretty decent. It may just require a very slow buildup. There we go. I'm going to put another amp on. Okay. And you'll notice something up here, that even though I'm setting this 19 amps, the actual amperage here is saying 20. So it may not be necessarily the steadiest power source. Let's go ahead and boost up to 20 amps, which I was not able to get to before when I was quickly increasing, but slowly increasing I might get there. So at 20 amps, 247 volts, we're getting pretty close to the actual limit for what we can charge, or what the generator's rated to charge. In theory, the generator will basically just drop the load if drop the load. In theory, the generator will stop providing electricity. We'll say it that way. I can't not laugh by saying drop the load. Anyway, so in this respect here, increasing the amperage to this amount, so the generator should be, if it goes above 6,500 watts, it should just drop all of the current it's putting out, and that is the most it should be able to put out. Also, there probably is, now that I think about it, a limit to that particular plug itself, which might be close to 4,000 or 5,000 amps, or 5,000 watts, I think. We're about to find out though, so I'm going to increase one more amp, and she's still hanging in there. Yeah, so we're actually getting 20 miles per hour of charge here right now at 21 amps. So let's go up to 22, see if she'll keep going. And that's looking not bad. It's looking pretty steady. And just to go up one more, 23. So we're at either 23 or 24 amps, depending on which of these numbers you're looking at. My son is getting bored and going inside. Oh, we've gained a mile of charge so far. So we're up to about 22 miles per hour of charge. And one more amp. Let's see what we got. Can we make it? It's looking like a yes. Yes, we can. I'm gonna get... Well, let's see what happens if we go up one more. I don't think this is gonna last much longer. And neither is my son. So here we go with another amp. Will it hold in? The answer is... yes, it will. I'm actually pretty surprised. Oh, he just went in to get another toy. Great. He's found another toy. So here we go. Let's see if we can get one more amp out of it. Oh, it's sounding like it's taking... It sounds like it's really starting to do some hard work. But we've got... we're up plus 2 miles so far. And I mean, it's been less than 10 minutes that it's actually been charging at this rate, so that's good. And I'll go up one more amp, see if she can hang in. I don't think we're gonna squeeze much more out of this. I think it's gonna run out of power here, out of power capability soon. This is interesting. I'm kind of surprised it's doing this well. But we're getting up to 27 or 28 amps times that 247 volts. I mean, if we get to 30 amps, that's doing a pretty solid 7,000 watts or so. Which is interesting because the starting capacity of the generator is 8,000 watts. So I don't know. Let's see what happens. 28. Oh, sounds like it's struggling. It's dropping. Yep, it's down. So 27 amps or 28 amps seems to be the absolute max that I am able to maintain. And in theory, I'd be able to charge my car in about an hour to a full level from where it's at, which, I mean, I'm already pretty close to 90% as it is. I only need to get, I would assume like 25 miles to be up to where I should be. So, yeah, this is surprisingly okay. I kind of expected it to suck, to be honest. Now, here's the question, though. How does this compare to, obviously, just putting gas in the car, which is what a lot of people would want to compare it to? And to discuss that, I'm going to have to do some math. All right, so where did we end up with charging a Model 3 Tesla with a portable gasoline generator? The answer will probably not surprise you if you knew anything about any of this, and it might surprise you if you think you know something about this, or you didn't know anything. So the reality of the situation is that if I look at the spec sheet for my particular generator, I find that I should be able to run the generator at about 8 hours with a full tank of gas at full load. So the full capacity of that tank is about 6.9 gallons. When I look at how many miles I charged per hour, it should be on average about 26. So 26 times 8 hours puts me at somewhere around 208 miles of charge per hour. I can then divide that by the gallons of gas I used, which was 6.9, and I get roughly 30.14 miles per gallon if I was going to convert that to miles per gallon. So that's pretty comparable to any normal gas car out there these days. About 30 miles to the gallon is pretty normal. Then when you start to compare, though, to cars that are in its kind of performance category, you actually find there's no comparison. Because if you wanted to put this up against something like a Mustang, I would say most Mustangs aren't able to beat me most of the time, but you put up against most like Mustangs, Corvettes, Chargers, all these different cars that are considered sports cars that cost a good amount of money. They're going to use premium gas. They're going to use somewhere along the lines of like 26 miles to the gallon, depending on what they are, if they're a higher performance model. And there's really not a comparison. These cars do a lot better. And that's really good. Now, where the really big break here, though, goes is to when you start scaling up the size of the generator and you are able to charge more than one car at a time. So if we look at, we'll say I have the specs for the GP 17500, which is a 17,500 watt generator. So I could charge 2 cars with that, not even at really even 80% load. I could do that for about 10 hours with a 16-gallon tank, and I could actually get the full amount of amperage, the full 30 amps. So we could probably get close to about 29 miles per hour, we'll say. So if we did 29 miles per hour, or 29 miles of charge per hour, times 10 hours of runtime, it's 290. And then you divide that by 16 gallons of gas that you took to get there. That puts you at roughly 18.13 miles to gallon for one car. But if you're charging 2, you double that to 36. And you would actually be able to add a third car in there. There's enough headroom in there that you could do that, and you're actually looking somewhere upwards of like 50 to 60 miles per gallon of charge, which is really, really good. And that's kind of the idea. Is a lot of people get stuck up and hung up on the idea that, yeah, you do need fossil fuels, natural gas, coal. You do need those to provide electricity, but it's far more efficiently done by the power company than it is by, a portable electric generator. There's really no comparison. I mean, my power company, for example, has about 10 to 15% of its power generated by solar, I think 35% by nuclear, and the rest, around 50%, by coal. And I mean, it's good. I think nuclear is the cleanest source of energy that we can come up with, at least for the time being. But the coal does a really good job of bridging the gap, and we're going to need it for the foreseeable future, that and natural gas. But the power company is far more efficient at generating that electricity than we can be at home, and that's why it's really better, because nobody's burning gasoline to make electricity. It's just really inefficient. So that's why people say that electric vehicles are better for the environment, because really once they've been operating for a few thousand miles, I think it's 10,000. They have no emissions, and they're really just less emission than what you're already making. So that's a good thing. But realistically, the reason I drive one isn't because I care about the climate so much. It's because they're fun and they're fast. That's really it. So my final 2 cents on the matter is whether or not you care about climate change, believe in it, agree with it, don't agree, whatever the status is, just drive whatever you want to drive and be happy with it. I'm pretty happy right now that I'm not paying for gas, and it is what it is. I'm sure at some point I'll pay more for electricity, but as of right now, I pay like $30 to $45 a month to charge my car. So it's a lot cheaper than I was paying for gas, which was like $200. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't like it, leave me a comment. Or if I missed something, you want to know more, or maybe I should test something differently, throw a comment on that down below too. And, have a great day. Oh, if you subscribe, that would also make my life way better. I love getting more subscriptions. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, try not to die.